Today I'm reacting to your Friday Night SmackDown Hot Take. Hot Takes is a weekly video series where I give you all a platform to be able to voice your thoughts, whether those are good thoughts, bad thoughts, or everything in between about the world of professional wrestling. So if you'd like to be featured in the next episode of Hot Takes, make sure that you're following me over on X because I ask for your hot takes there after every episode of Raw, SmackDown, and every single WWE Premium Live event. Which means, yes, we will be doing an episode of Hot Takes immediately after Crown Jewel ends. So if you want to be able to share your thoughts for that show, make sure that you're following me over there, link in the description. As always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know that you're going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And I do want to apologize ahead of time if the title or thumbnail has spoiled aspects of this episode of Friday Night SmackDown for you if you're in the United States, because this episode has already aired for international markets as early as 8 a.m. Eastern time or 9 p.m. Japan time for me. And I know that a huge portion of you probably haven't seen this episode yet because it hasn't aired at the usual expected time of 8 p.m. Eastern time for most people in the United States. So if you haven't seen this episode of Friday Night SmackDown, make sure that you pause the video now, because if you keep going, it absolutely will spoil the episode for you, because we're going to talk about everything that happened in the show just like we do in every episode of Hot Take. So yeah, I do apologize, but this is a weird situation with the Australian shows just throwing the timings completely out the window in terms of when I usually would upload this, because this would usually be the Saturday video, but now it's going to be the Friday video. Anyways, again, I'm sorry, but that's enough. Let's get to the hot takes. Oh, by the way, new hotel room. I'm in Osaka. I'm no longer in Tokyo. So yeah, in case you were wondering. By the way, people are spreading rumors that I've been kidnapped by the Yakuza. When I was in Colombia, it was the Colombian cartel. Now it's the Yakuza. Do you guys think I have beef with every international criminal syndicate? I don't. Anyways, let's get to your hot take. The Zelina Vega and Aleister Black pairing is fantastic. All this pairing needs is good booking, and the sky is the limit for both of them. I couldn't agree more. Now, me personally, I believe that Aleister Black was going to be just fine, especially if he could win this feud here against Damian Priest. But with the addition of Zelina Vega, it unlocks a new potential for Aleister Black. It gives him a higher ceiling, specifically from a storytelling perspective. Aleister Black was already good at telling a story, and he was already good in the ring, but Zelina Vega allows WWE to tell deeper narratives with him, considering they're an actual married couple, and in recent memory with the likes of AJ Lee and CM Punk and Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, they've demonstrated that they can book real-life married couples well on TV. So if they can take some of that experience and apply it here with Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, we might have something special. It also all really depends. What kind of role is Zelina Vega going to play alongside Aleister Black? Is she going to be mostly a valet, a manager, a mouthpiece, just like how she was in NXT Black and Gold and with Andrade? Because some of you may not know, maybe you're newer wrestling fans, maybe you didn't watch NXT Black and Gold. Zelina Vega started off as a manager, and she was a damn good manager for Andrade as well. But in recent years, she's demonstrated that she can be a great in-ring performer. So now we are tying two solid in-ring performers, two solid storytellers, two solid people on the mic. I think that the equation leads to nothing but positive things here. Now, will it lead to a world championship? I don't know. Could it lead to a mid-card championship? I think it certainly puts them on the map for one, that's for sure. Either way, I think that this is a wonderful move, especially for Zelina Vega, who wasn't really doing anything. She wasn't going for any sort of titles anymore. She seemed to be removed out of the US title picture. There was nothing going on for Zelina Vega. This now puts Zelina Vega back on the map as well. Please keep Sami Zayn out of the Bloodline Vortex and let him do his open challenge weekly. Now, I hate this term of the so-and-so vortex. I just think it's such an unnecessary term that's become popular with the IWC, but I'll play along. This Bloodline Vortex, sure, has been going on for a very long time with Sami Zayn. Would I prefer to see Sami Zayn do the open challenge? Oh my God, yes, 1,000,000%, absolutely. I hope that that doesn't stop, but it doesn't have to be just the open challenges. Sami Zayn can carry a storyline with MFT while also still doing the weekly open challenges. That's something that John Cena was doing. He would carry a storyline with somebody while still doing the weekly open challenges, and I think that Sami Zayn could still do the same thing. I personally would be disappointed if he stopped doing the open open challenges and only focused on going up against members of MFT, considering the Sami Zayn Open Challenge, let's face it, has become the most routinely best thing that Friday Night SmackDown has to offer. And as excited as I am as this new version of MFT that resembles New Japan Gorillas of Destiny with their new face paint and with the return of Tamatanga, as excited as I am for that, I'm not excited enough to be willing to replace what I think is the best thing on SmackDown, the Open Challenge. I wonder why SmackDown ended 8 minutes earlier than usual. It was kind of weird seeing that. I can actually explain this because it aired at 8 a.m. in the international market exclusively on Netflix. They didn't have to budget for commercial timing, so even though they did go to commercial break, the commercial breaks when we watch it at 8 p.m. on the USA Network in the United States, they're going to be longer. When it airs in the United States, it will end at the exact 2-hour mark. I know this because we've seen this with previous shows that have done this, that have aired SmackDown or Raw before the actual televised audience in the United States tends to get it. I'm so glad that they're giving Zelina Vega something new to do that'll give her more screen time and hopefully more time on the mic. She doesn't deserve to not be used, and she can be a good manager and mic worker for Aleister Black moving forward. Super excited to see what's next. Here's what's interesting about Aleister Black. I already think that he's good on the microphone. I don't think that he needed a Zelina Vega like an Andrade needed a Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega enhances what is already good about Aleister Black and just gives the Aleister Black character more dimensions to tell more diverse storyline. But like you said, Zelina Vega on her own right on the microphone is a demon. She's arguably the best female on the mic, and the only one that might be able to go toe-to-toe with a Zelina Vega might be who I think is the current best female on the mic in Becky Lynch. Seriously, if you haven't had a chance to watch Zelina Vega actually properly cook on the mic, which if you haven't, I wouldn't blame you because it seems like WWE hasn't been giving her those opportunities, especially recently, then you're missing out because she is absolute dynamite on the microphone when she's actually given the microphone. I do think ultimately that this is beneficial for Aleister Black, as we've already talked about, but I think that this is significantly more beneficial and significantly more helpful to Zelina Vega, who was just treading water, who was just doing absolutely nothing. At least the Aleister Black character always got screen time and always had a direction, unlike Zelina Vega. But I think that this is mutually beneficial for both of them, but I think that Zelina is benefiting significantly more here. Bro, it's like 7 a.m. here. How is it over? Welcome to the concept of time zones, my friend. So that you don't forget, remember that Crown Jewel will also be starting early, and so will Monday Night Raw. So make sure that either you turn on the alarm or remind yourself when you wake up to turn on Monday Night Raw or the highlights or whatever, because there's a good chance that by the time you wake up, it's already done and spoilers are out there. So just beware. Kiss are in WWE. Oh, that's good. I actually thought that they looked more like the bullies from the Karate Kid, but this is a pretty good comparison as well. In one night, WWE instantly made me interested in MFTs again, which I didn't think was possible after the failed run last time. I'm interested to see what they do now, possibly having all of the gold. Yeah, losing to Sami Zayn back to back to back, in my opinion, did irreparable damage to any notion that MFT could be a main event faction, that MFT needed to be taken seriously. But with the addition of a Tamatanga that looks like, by the way, he's put on like a solid 10 pounds of lean beef muscle, plus the face paint, plus maybe the new added demeanor of Solo Sikoa. We've yet to see if there's any sort of character change. Yeah, I'm significantly more interested in this version of MFT, and it is a genuine miracle that WWE has made me actually care and be interested in MFT after what MFT went through with Sami Zayn and getting absolutely shellacked and being thrown around and basically buried by Sam. The first run of MFT left a lot to be desired, but they're clearly channeling their inner New Japan here, and maybe we might actually be in for something good, something interesting, something of substance, something that makes you actually want to tune in and care about character development and matches for MFT, which I can say with confidence was something that was always missing. I never thought that they were bad. I just simply didn't care about them, which in many cases in the world of professional wrestling is worse than being bad. It's also nice seeing that they are a group of action going after Sami Zayn and Nakamura and putting their flag down in the United States Championship picture, while also going after the Wyatt Six, putting their flag down in the tag team division. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do. Maybe they can be like a Judgment Day, where it's like a faction that has multiple segments throughout the night and feuding in different divisions. I feel like SmackDown could benefit from somebody like this. Another quote, next week bullshit. Drew versus Jacob should have been on Crown Jewel. The 5-match card is already looking stacked, but they really could have added another potential 5-star match to the ESPN show that charges American fans $30. There's just no reason for this to not have been on the show. I don't understand why fly out Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu to do a fight sequence that you would think would lead to a big match on a PLE, only to announce that the match is going to be next week in front of a significantly smaller audience. Like Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu are major names, major draws. Drew McIntyre is a bona fide main eventer. Jacob Fatu is a future WrestleMania main eventer. These guys should be fighting on the biggest stages possible. So why not put it on Crown Jewel? Why does it hurt to just put it on Crown Jewel? I don't understand WWE's like aversion to like putting matches on PLEs and continue to just put these on the following episodes after PLEs or before PLEs. It's a really frustrating tactic that WWE is all of a sudden started following in the past year. The fact of the matter is that you have to be a transformationally amazing match to be remembered if you take place on Raw or SmackDown. For example, the Tag Team TLC, that's a transformationally amazing match. But for the most part, if you want your match to be remembered, like remembered, you need to be on a PLE. And like you said, they're charging $30 a month. You would think that WWE, especially after getting a C from ESPN for WrestlePalooza, that they might want to stack the show to try and maybe, I don't know, get a little bit more fan love in a time where it feels like fan morale is at its lowest that it's been in a very long time. Everyone in the Asia Pacific region, including myself, after finally being able to watch SmackDown live on an actual Friday night instead of waking up early on a Saturday morning. Hey, it's the reason why I actually live streamed this show, because it aired at 9 p.m. Japan time, which is nice, which is the reason why I will be able to do a watch party for Crown Jewel, because it's at 9 p.m. Japan time. So make sure you stop by the YouTube page or the Twitch page or the Kick page. I am going to be live streaming Crown Jewel so that you guys can hang out with. And hey, if you're in the United States, you can grab like a bowl of cereal and we can make it like a Saturday morning cartoons type of deal if you come hang out with me. I wonder if Stephanie Vaquer is going to turn heel. I know nobody has called for a heel turn, but she's been offered a place in a heel faction both of the last weeks in Julia and Kiana James's group and this week in Chelsea Green's faction. Probably totally unrelated, but it's a theory. Not game theory, RIP Matt Pat. I don't think so, but there is a vacuum on Monday Night Raw for a top heel, as we've talked about before. The current top heel is Becky Lynch, and she's busy in the mid-card. The next top heel, I would say, is Asuka, busy doing tag team stuff. The other one that we have, of course, is Liv Morgan, but Liv Morgan is injured, and the one that we did have is Naomi, and she's pregnant. So there is a major vacuum still left at the top of the women's division as for a heel on Monday Night Raw. Could that be Stephanie Vaquer? Certainly, she's played heel before that I've seen in her time outside of the WWE. But would they turn her heel right now? I'm going to say no. I think that WWE is weirdly in a good position with it being Crown Jewel season and then immediately after it being Survivor Series season. I think that they can wait out the clock. And what I mean by that is that they can wait out the clock on the Liv Morgan recovery tour, because I think that by the time that we're done through all of these gimmick PLEs that allow WWE to hide championship matches for Stephanie Vaquer, I think once the dust settles there, it'll be enough time for Liv Morgan to recoup herself and come back and be the top women's heel in the Monday Night Raw roster. That's why I don't think that there is a need for Stephanie Vaquer to be a heel, but I think this is good analysis. I feel like you're paying attention clearly, because you're right. It's now two heel grouping factions, whatever you want to call them, that have stretched their hand out to Stephanie Vaquer. Omega. Anyone else think that we might be getting some type of mixed tag team championship titles with all of these couples? If that's the case, I'm so here for it personally. I don't think that that's going to happen, but it goes to what I was saying before, that WWE has gotten quite good at booking real life couples, obviously with the exception here of Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan, who aren't actually a real life couple. But nonetheless, WWE has gotten pretty good at booking couples. Hell, you can even look at something lower like a Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano. You could add them to the mix here as well. I think it'd be kind of cool if maybe WWE explored Montez Ford and Bianca Belair. You know, if especially like if you really want to stack up this mixed tag team division that you're talking about, there's something there. I don't think that it's going to happen, but yeah, you're making an interesting point. There are a lot more male-femaling pairings in the WWE today than we've had in a really, really long time. And now you add Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, this division, this fake division that doesn't actually exist, might actually be stronger than the women's tag team division or the Raw tag team division. I think it's time to reunite the Terror Twins to help Priest deal with Zelina. They're friends and could really help the SmackDown roster women's division, or have Lola get called up to SmackDown. Look, I love Lola Vice. I think that she could be a great future talent for the WWE, and I don't take it lightly saying this. She's not ready for the main roster. She still needs significantly more seasoning in NXT, and I think that's for the best for everybody, for her career. I think she should stay in NXT for at least the foreseeable future. I think Rhea Ripley is a very interesting option. Not only are her and Damian Priest friends, but so are her and Zelina Vega, so they could have really great chemistry working with one another. So you know what? Yeah, I could see it. I could see Damian Priest being like, "Wepa, let me show you my mommy," and then Rhea Ripley comes out and they have like a one-off PLE style mixed tag match. Who knows? I could see it happen. Good episode. Extremely happy that WWE have noticed some of the entrance themes needed changing in the first place. Hearing Shinsuke's violin kick in again was beautiful. Hopefully this becomes a trend and we can next save Finn Balor from being Def Rebel. Yeah, how interesting that today we went back to the Street Profits old theme song and to Nakamura's old theme song. Maybe WWE is maybe opening their ears, and by that I mean listening to fans, not actually listening to how terrible their entrance themes are. But maybe they are realizing that they got terrible, unrecognizable, boring, lifeless, no pop inducing entrance themes plaguing the WWE today. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that some of these names that have been just colossally Def Rebeled could maybe return to some old entrance themes. I'm looking at you, Sheamus. I would love to get your limes back. Even though it's only a gimmick match and their feud will be over after Saturday, I genuinely think that Cody and Seth have had one of the best build-ups on the card. The history is there, and all the stuff said in the ring and backstage has been really, really interesting. I agree. Again, WWE could have easily just phoned it in. WWE could have just gotten to Crown Jewel and just moved on immediately after if they wanted to, just like they did with Gunther and Cody Rhodes last year for that Crown Jewel match. A Crown Jewel match that was a good match, but no one remembers or talks about because it was a meaningless exhibition match at the end of the day. At the very, very least, I have to commend WWE for trying something, for making you want to watch and care about this match aside from who wins the goofy title. Now, I will say Cody's most recent promo on Friday Night SmackDown on the Go Home episode was kind of uninspired. I don't really think it did much to add to the feud. I think they could have just rode themselves right into the sunset, right into the match without adding that Cody Rhodes promo. That's just my opinion, but that is entirely nitpicking. We're finally getting that much anticipated MFTs and Wyatt 6 feud, and I won't be surprised if this is the War Games match. Okay, so the numbers for War Games are certainly there. By the way, kind of weird that Uncle Howdy wasn't there. I don't know where he was. Maybe he wasn't able to make it to Australia. Maybe he was sick that night. I don't know. But will this be the match for Survivor Series War Games? I mean, I'm pretty confident that it's going to be the Vision, but I guess the numbers are here. I don't think that it's going to be. I feel like War Games is designated for that heel faction that's been running the show for months and months and months and months. And MFT just returning here, I don't think gives them enough time to really be built up to be the dreaded evil faction that requires all of the baby faces coming together to topple. I think that role belongs to the Vision at the moment. This is one of those matches where Cody could realistically lose the title. He might not make it to WrestleMania as champ. Maybe he drops it before and wins it back later. It's like this title only ever changes hands at WrestleMania. I would personally love for the title to start changing hands in places that isn't just WrestleMania or SummerSlam. I think if they were to run Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes, and and we got a shock Jacob Fatu championship win, I think it would be awesome. I think it would be great if WWE would attempt to experiment with somebody new like a Jacob Fatu, much like they used to experiment left, right, and center with people like JBL, Eddie Guerrero, Benoit, RVD, Randy Orton, Edge, John Cena, Batista in the Ruthless Aggression era until they could find a new star that can actually stick around and be part of the main event scene on a regular basis. And I would love for them to experiment like that with Jacob Fatu. Now, I hope it actually goes somewhere. We know that we're currently in the middle of the never-ending saga that is Randy Orton just staring at Cody's title and doing absolutely nothing about it. So there are other things that Cody Rhodes could be doing, that Cody Rhodes has already planted seeds for, things that we're already looking forward to, where it might not really leave a heck of a whole lot of room for a Jacob Fatu storyline or feud. But again, I don't mind one-off storylines, one-off feuds, even if it isn't changing the title. I just like when new names get given an opportunity in the main event and be given an opportunity to impress us and hopefully stay there. Today's finish reminded me of WrestleMania 9. That's funny because I said what in the WCW, because I swear to God, it felt like so many of the bloopers from WCW in the 90s were some sort of fail fire related gimmicks. And I'm glad that the one at WrestleMania 9 worked and that the one tonight with Aleister Black and Damian Priest ultimately worked as well, because I feel like you're putting too much emphasis on third-party elements like the moisture and the oxygen in the atmosphere to make your spot look good. And I just feel like that's just too many uncontrollable variables. I'm just glad that the uncontrollable variables actually like helped the situation and made that fireball attack actually look pretty sick. In my opinion, it should have been Grayson Waller versus Sammy for the US title, as there would have been a massive pop, and I doubt that he'll be used on Raw. Dude, I was certain it was going to be Grayson Waller. I thought that they were going to save Shinsuke Nakamura until a little bit later, but I think that they're trying to rebrand Shinsuke Nakamura back to babyface now that they're going to go on tour here in Japan here in the following week. And if you saw the schedule for the Japan tour, they have Jey Uso and Nakamura teaming up, and Nakamura being the wayward lone walking samurai with his eerie music hanging out with "It's Just Me" Uso doesn't really particularly work. But this babyface Nakamura does. I really think that they just did this for the Japan tour, honestly. I don't think that Shinsuke is going to be doing anything special anytime soon. But yeah, Grayson Waller would have been a nice pop, but that's all it would have been. I don't think that it would have created any drama. I don't think anybody would have really expected Grayson Waller to win. But yeah, sure, I guess you're right. It would have created a big pop. I think Kiana James was the star of the match. Her in-ring ability is so good, and her promo work is excellent, and I really hope that she can get a singles push down the line. You know what? I was thoroughly impressed with Kiana James in this match. All the other three women that were in this match, and Stephanie, Tiffy, and Julia, we all know that they can go in the ring. The one that we're kind of like looking at to see, hey, can she actually like lace the boots of the women that she's in the ring with, was Kiana James. And in this match, dude, she was great. She was selling her ass off for both of the champions, making them look good, making their offense look nasty and deadly. So shout out to Kiana James. I really think that she did her role tonight, and she did it very, very well. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of Hot Takes. Again, I'm going to be here for about another week, so a handful more videos of me on this couch right here. This is just a regular hotel couch. This is not the casting couch before you make those jokes. Okay, goodbye. Get out of here.